Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And in this episode, we're going to question the old man that happened to be in the boathouse in the last part. Now, in case you're wondering about that old man, he's senile. He thinks that his boat shop's the wet noodle. He thinks Phoenix is Keith and he thinks Maya is Meg. But more importantly, he taught the parrot to remember DL6. Although that's not going to come up in this day, that's going to be later. I will say this. The old man may have more than meets the eye towards his persona. All I could say, ladies and gentlemen, is this old man may turn this case around, provided we can actually get information from him. Meanwhile, Von Karma is pretty much predicting how he's going, and actually formulating how he's going to win this case. Because considering the methods Von Karma took throughout the entirety of this trial, this turnabout, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did win. Because that is how ruthless Von Karma really is. Did I mention he's ruthless? He also decides that he's going to end the trial in 3 minutes. Eric Bischoff reference aside, Von Karma may just get his wish. At least I hope we don't, then it would probably be a game over. But no, there's no 3-minute time limit, folks. Don't be shocked and don't be stressed out. It's just how the game is dialogued, and also Von Karma really is really is a person who's in control of the entirety of the trial, which is why everybody calls him a perfectionist. And I can't believe I just bit my tongue, but whatever the case, the only thing that Von Karma did was ask the caretaker his profession. He didn't ask him his name. Now that is something he didn't do. And he is also senile. Yes, the boat taker is also senile, as you can see. So he is just weaving backwards and forward, just going completely off his rocker, and then having fallen asleep. However, Phoenix won't have to take that. You can either raise an objection or let it sit. If you let it sit, you'll still just go on with the trial. However, since I raised an objection, Von Karma pretty much interrupted and said he didn't ask the man his name, so that's why he didn't go into it. So, the witness probably have not been able to remember his name, let alone state his name. And here's the thing. He has a selective memory, just like with Wendy Obag. However, his memory is only like during the time he was at the boat shop all the way up until now. So anything past that, he doesn't know. So on that note, he can still testify despite not knowing who he is. And I seriously think that we are in a kangaroo court. Well, so long as Von Karma's there anyway. Oh, wait till we get to the next case. You'll see the definition of a kangaroo court. Anyway, excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. It's sort of lunchtime around this time, so I had to give myself something to eat. But whatever the case, old man here is going to be talking about how he heard a bang and how he saw 2 guys on a boat. And the moment he heard another bang, somebody fell straight into the lake. And that's all we basically saw at the beginning of this case. Now then, a person ended up walking by his window. Now that statement we're gonna have to press. However, before we could even call for a cross-examination, well, Manfred wants to end the trial right here and now. So, it doesn't matter what you pick between don't cross-examine and cross-examine. You're going to be forced to cross-examine, so that's why I skipped past this choice. Unfortunately, it pissed off Manfred von Karma. By the way, that pose he did is pretty much mimetic to everybody who makes Phoenix Wright sprite videos. Check out Phoenix Wrong, and you'll see how many people have made a multitude of memes with that guy's sprites. But whatever the case, now we've come to the cross-examination, and the part where old man here says that somebody passed by his window, you press that statement. And to be fair, he couldn't see the man's face, even if there's going to be fog, but there was somebody past his window apparently. So we need to find out what exactly is in that testimony. But before we could, Manfred von Karma is laughing his ass off for some reason. So we're gonna have to press the statement he just made. And unfortunately, before we can even get an answer, he falls asleep. Unfortunately, we'll have to keep up with the charade too, in order for to actually find out any answers from him. And unfortunately for us, guess who he fingers? And falls asleep under. Yep. Unfortunately, the judge has everything in his favor. Well, everything in Von Karma's favor anyway. And we pretty much got shafted. There's nothing anybody can do at this point. We're gonna have to raise an objection, unfortunately, because wait and see what happens will, well, not do anything. And we've already proven that the fact that Edgeworth's fingerprints was on the gun. However, he wasn't the one who fired it. And for a guy who happens to be Edgeworth's mentor, he is certainly quick to try to throw him under the bus. We'll have to raise an objection yet again, because again, wait to see what happens will force me to do it anyway. Did you honestly think he would actually kill someone? But the answer would be no. However, we still don't know the truth. Unfortunately, the only thing we have to go by is the old man's testimony. And at this point, we have no evidence, and sadly, no chance in hell. Which the trial literally is about to come to an abrupt end. Yeah, this is one of those forced but thou must moments. Even though Maya tries so hard to try to summon her, Mia cannot hear her. But this is one opponent that Phoenix will have to use whatever he has. And unfortunately, he's ran out of everything. So now, the judge dismissed the caretaker. And at this point in time, Edgeworth is unfortunately been declared guilty. Yeah, this may piss off a lot of people who've played this trial, but I promise you, this isn't the end. And we practically did everything right. I know there's going to be a lot of people who would be pissed off or make a fake reaction about that, but this is one of the bigger fake outs in the entirety of the series. And why do I say fake out? That's why! Who should appear but of all people, Larry Butts. The only person Manfred von Karma did not call to the stand because he too was in the area. He was actually selling samurai dogs at the time, and Manfred von Karma forgot him completely, or didn't even bother to take him as a witness. So with that said, that just added a whole new dimension to this trial. Unfortunately, Von Karma doesn't want that. And yes, Larry did hear a gunshot. So, here's the thing, there were actually 2 gunshots. And obviously, he's trying to testify on the behalf of Edgeworth. And remember, folks, Larry was the one that almost went to jail for murder. Ironically enough, this is the only game where Edgeworth, Phoenix, and Larry were all about to be tried for murder. Which is totally ironic. Too bad in Phoenix's case, it was in a bullshit trial and a bullshit case. But we'll just let that slide for now, since we're past that point. So on that note, Larry gave us one last chance, and the penalties is nowhere near as high as it would have been in the previous trial, but this one, yeah, you can screw up, and you can get like a 2 points off of your penalty meter if you do screw up. So you're going to have to pay attention to listen to Larry's idiocy. And on that note, let the let the witness testimony begin. So also, Von Karma just doesn't know how to react to this. Well, since Von Karma had pretty much lost the opportunity to throw Edgeworth in jail for the rest of his life, at least he's safe for the time being. And we'll have to go into recess too. Because after all, this development happened, and Von Karma will have to prepare his witness. Much to his utter dismay. Well, Edgeworth was literally not expecting Larry to show up. And at the time he was at the scene of the crime, he was looking for the destroyed samurai balloon that was shot in the air and overflowed, which in turn turned out to be Gordy, which everybody was hoping was a real thing, turned out to be fake. But then again, just like with everything, if something stinks, it's gotta be the butts. Well, that butts ended up being whipped into shape, and now we're gonna have to rely on that butts in order to save us. If not, Edgeworth maybe in jail, or worse. And Maya asks a very important question. Why did Edgeworth pick up the gun? Or why was his hands on the gun in the first place? The person fell into the lake, dropped the gun. That's what happened. And Edgeworth didn't even know what was going on. So the fact of Edgeworth picking up a gun and shooting someone is completely out of the question. But still, him picking up the murder weapon was the dumbest thing he could have ever done. He could have left it there. So on that note, wait, actually, now that I stop and think about it, Edgeworth wasn't even given a chance to tell his side of the story throughout the entirety of this endeavor. He was just willing to accept his fate. But now we actually come to find out things about Von Karma that we didn't know. Von Karma wants things to be perfect. Perfect witness, perfect evidence, perfect trial. The whole flow goes his way till the defense have absolutely no chance in hell of winning. And that is what he wanted. This is the first time that he hasn't let somebody he hasn't coerced to actually testify. And unlike with Lotta, Larry's not only unpredictable, but Larry may just help us out. Meanwhile, the old geezer is back at the caretaker, back at the boat shack, sorry. So, we lasted at least 15 minutes against Von Karma. Let's see if we can last a little bit more. Hopefully, we can do quite more damage to Von Karma's testimony, or at least Von Karma's plan, as swiftly as humanly possible, and hopefully get Edgeworth out. So on that note, it's time to hear Larry's testimony, and hopefully Larry will actually give us something, well, credible, as opposed to Lotta Hart, who was forced to lie. And by the way, Lotta Hart lying will not be something that will stop anytime soon, if Justice for All is any indication. And Von Karma is absolutely livid. You can see the look on his face. So we have one chance to break open the whole entire case to hopefully get things on our side. So as Larry talks about how he was recovering his Steel Samurai balloon, we'll just have to at least mention which one of these, yeah, the single gunshot. You have to press that statement. You will have to press the single gunshot statement, because that statement right there is something that needs to be questioned, considering the fact that there were 2 gunshots that happened. So, Phoenix is a little scared to press Larry, but you're gonna have to press him. It's the only way we're gonna end up trying to turn this case around. So, it'll be the last statement he made, and while you're at it, if you try to put evidence towards it, pay attention because, actually, yeah, you gotta put evidence towards it. In fact, Lotta's deposition is the one thing you need to put towards it. But yeah, you can press the statement at least to find out any more information. So that way, you'll be able to be for sure put Lotta's deposition towards Larry's testimony. Because 2 people just mentioned that there was 2 gunshots, whereas Larry only heard 1. And why is that? So, he wasn't even in the trial at the time, so how could he know? And him trying to get customer appreciation kind of messed up. Even the judge questioning this. But hold on one second, I'll be right back. I gotta get myself something to drink. Well, I'm back. I just had to get myself something to drink. There was something in my throat, seriously. But he missed the other gunshot because he was actually listening to his headphones. That's why he could only hear 1 gunshot. Which begs the question, how was he able to hear 1 gunshot and everybody was booing Larry? That's freaking hilarious. But still, if he did only hear 1 gunshot because he was listening to his radio, that may be enough. That's more than enough to actually continue, or should I say, yeah, continue. Might as well. If you say that's enough, well, you're gonna be forced to continue anyway. But Larry has more than meets the eye to that statement, while Von Karma can just simply not care. Alright. He's just looking there like, man, I can't believe this went on longer than I anticipated. And he is pretty much just saying there's nothing more pitiful than a lawyer who knows when who doesn't know when they lost. Well, to be fair, you don't know when you've lost. So now, the testimony of him listening to the radio is added, and you're gonna have to press that statement, unfortunately. And look at Larry just sweating bullets. Oh boy. So with this new testimony, he has 4 entries this time around. And he listens to the radio all the time. And of course, while he was listening booming loud, he said he heard the gunshot. Because the DJ mentions it on the radio. That statement you have to press. And everyone's just looking down on the man for listening to the radio. Oh yeah, by the way, I did mention something about how Von Karma normally snaps whirlwinds in the anime. Larry was one of those victims. It was just ridiculous how he just went there and just snapped the moment Larry jumped out of the stand, stands and came onto the witness stand. So now, we need to find out exactly what the DJ said. That's why we pressed this statement. Or at least, find out exactly what the DJ say through Larry's statement. So on that note, go to the last statement where it says he heard the DJ talking about it. And seeing as how sometimes DJs don't play music, that can be an interesting thing. And now you're going to come to a question, because if you don't, you're probably going to be either forced to do it or take a penalty. say we should care? That's the answer to that question. And there's a reason why. There could be an important announcement. You never know with these radio DJs. Sometimes they even talk about their life story. So, that statement right there, you're gonna have to put the gun. Wait, hold on. That one right here. Actually, the lake photo. I almost said the gun. That was stupid. But you're gonna have to put the lake photo on that statement. So, what Larry said about the gunshot going off where it's almost Christmas, the gunshot went off before Christmas actually happened. And that means it was not only still Christmas Eve, but also that first photo from Lotta actually comes into play. In fact, the time is literally 15 minutes after midnight. But there's another photo also. That's the thing I forgot to mention. There's another photo. Remember, Lotta gave you the other photo in the last episode, and that's going to come into play right about now. That's pretty much what the witnesses have to say. Meanwhile, Von Karma still doesn't believe this crap, and he just doesn't seem to care what Larry has to say. So all you gotta do is say Larry is right. Saying Larry is wrong will actually get you a penalty. So now we're gonna have to show how Larry heard the gunshot before midnight, and that will have to be for the next part. And we have to pull out the second photograph, by the way. Or should I say the first, which was marked at 11:50. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna continue on the trial in part 30. We'll finally shed some light. Things are getting exciting, but I have to end the part here. See you guys next time, and sorry it came out so late.